Hi everybody, my name is Alex and we are currently at my girlfriend's wardrobe consignment store located in York, PA. I wanted to make a really quick video with both of these Michael Kors bags to show you a comparison between a real and a fake version. For those of you who are not sure, I'm going to come out and tell you that the navy version on the left is the fake version of this bag. There are a lot of things wrong with the navy bag, so let's just jump right in and start comparing. So the first things I'm going to compare are the plate, the logo plate, and also the buckles and the hardware here on the side. So take a really good look. There's a couple things wrong. The first is the metal logo plate is actually crooked and it's not the correct size. The leather plate behind that is actually missing the cushion and it is again not quite the right size or shape. The buckles should be perfectly square and well made. This should not move like that. Also, the buckles should have Michael Kors written on the top of them, which they do not. And this hardware here on the buckle should be flat, not rounded like it is there. It's also too skinny. It should be wider. If we jump over to the real version, you'll immediately see the difference. So the cushioning that I was talking about is here. And you can see that this plate is a more correct size. You can also see the balls here on the corners are a lot bigger. It's not crooked. It's 100% perfect. The buckles are perfectly square. This piece moves just a tiny bit, but not as much as the other. The Michael Kors there is on the top, and then you can also see the hardware there where the buckle comes through is nice and flat. It's also wider than on the blue. So there's the comparison shot for you for the buckle and also that hardware. And if I pull out even more, you can also see what I was talking about with the metal logo plate on the front. You can tell the one on the blue is absolutely crooked. Next, I want to show you guys the handle here of the blue bag. So as you can see, there's some really ugly stitching going across at the very bottom of the handle. If you look at the red version, that is not the case. You can also see that the red version is nice and structured and that it's standing up by itself, whereas the blue version is not structured at all. On the inside of these handles, it's actually material like that, which is basically just a bunch of string looped together. So there's really nothing there holding that handle up at all. You can also see that the hardware here is not as nice as the hardware here. This is really nice and thick. That is just really cheap and flimsy feeling. Another big difference is the chain here on the straps. You can see with the authentic version that some of the areas have a flat mark, or flat area rather, on the chain, versus the fake version is just all round. You can also see the D-rings that connect the chains are totally different. The one on the authentic version is smaller and it's more rounded. It's also heavier, while the one on the blue version, which is fake, is wider, taller, and thinner. Also take note of the straps here. So this was the end here, so that's glazed off, really nice stitching. If you look at the back of this one, it comes out much wider, it's much more noticeable, and they also stitched right over that. So that's a big no-no with there. Another thing before we move to the inside of these bags is see that there are two rivets or studs here on the outside, whereas with the blue bag, it is missing those. So the quilted pattern is not even correct on the blue bag when you compare it to the red. So moving to the interior, we'll start with the red since the red's the authentic version. And notice how the lining has Michael Kors in it, with Kors being bigger. The lining is also very quiet. You're not going to hear it move around or make noise like a windbreaker material. Also notice that the zipper pulls are leather. And again, they have that squishy cushion that I like to call. This piece, while I know not in the best condition, you can still see really nice and thick. Glazing is great. There's no stitching under here at all. Stitching is nice. Also, the pocket in the back goes across almost the entire width of the bag. Moving over to the blue, the interior lining is not correct. It's also very loud and noisy. Kind of reminds me of windbreaker pant material. The zipper pulls are not correct. There are two different fake metal versions, actually, for one. Two, they're metal, so they should be covered in leather there. The back pocket is significantly shorter in length than the red. just to go back to that so you can see how nice and long that is compared to this. Much shorter. And the stitching on the underside here of the dog leash closure is just a mess. So you can see where they stitched it together. It's not actually two pieces of leather like they try to lead you to believe here. So that is some of the big differences between a real version and a fake version. An even bigger difference is that the authentic version of this bag goes to support Michael Kors and the company and its workers, whereas the fake version of this bag was most likely made by children who are most likely chained to their sewing machines and are being forced to work. The authentic version, while it is expensive for some, is much better. Save up your money. I promise you it will be well worth it, and you won't be supporting any of those terrible things. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. I hope to hear from you, and you can always buy 100% authentic designer items from us anytime, whether you're shopping with us online or in store. Thanks, guys.